Hi, and good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you're seeing this. My name is Madonna. I'm a board member of the Townsville Chamber of Commerce, and today we have got our second series in the Chamber Chats. So what I have today is an amazing woman. Yes, you are. Her name is Debbie Rains, and she owns Travel Associates. Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you. Thanks very much for the opportunity to join you today.
Well, the reason we've invited you here today is because you're in a sector that really has been affected by this COVID-19, and you have been in business for over 30 years in Townsville, and I know that anybody in the travel industry would be very aware of you as Debbie Rains, but also aware of Travel Associates, because as a local business, what you've got here is that you have got businesses in the Townsville CBD. You've got it in shopping centres as well. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
And you also support staff who also work from home prior to the COVID. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've got quite a diverse business, as you've just said. I'm a franchisee, so that creates its own little, eco system. Being involved then with a larger group, the Flight Centre Travel Group. So that's the best of both worlds. We can tap in on their buying power, but at the same time react and act locally. So 4 stores here in Townsville. Well, before COVID, there were 4 stores here in Townsville, 1 in Mackay and 1 in Rockhampton, and we employ roughly around 40 people, or we did employ around 40 people. You know, to your point, COVID has been significant, has had a significant impact on my business. Almost overnight, every aircraft in the world was grounded, cruise ships were taken back to port, nearly every hotel in operation has become empty. So that has really shaken us to the core.
And do you find that with the travel industry, let's turn the clock back a little bit. So as far as the travel industry goes, you guys have really, when something happens in the world, it affects the travel industry. You've had many things like, and I can recall, the pilot strike.
Yep.
Let's talk about 9/11.
Yep.
The changes in travel in respect of the legislation as far as what's happened with those two. The fact that, you know, you can't pull up at airports, and airport travel is very different all over the world. And so every time that there's something happening, the travel industry seems to bear the brunt of it. So you have definitely, what I would, reinvented yourself every time as far as an industry is concerned. So with respect of your business now, how much of it was reliant on the international travel?
Our business is pretty much 85 to 89% reliant on international travel. So
wow,
yeah,
that's a lot.
That's a lot. And the small percentage that is domestic will come back first, but we're still unknown as to when international borders will open up, and they won't open altogether. It will be pockets.
So tell us what you're busy at the moment doing. You said to me this morning, you know, that we're actually really busy, and I found that, wow, how can you be busy? So talk about that. What are you actually doing at the moment in the travel industry?
Yeah, all those flights that have been cancelled, all those hotel bookings, and cruise ships have all their tours that have been cancelled or suspended. We're actually going through the process of either rebooking for next year or the year after for people, trying to arrange to get refunds back. All this time, we're working pretty much 3 times on one person's booking to try and come to some sort of an outcome for our customer.
So they booked it initially.
Yes.
Now they're ringing you, and obviously,
Either
because they would love to go on their holiday. Like I would love to have gone on my holiday. We were meant to be going overseas at the end of the year.
Yep.
So you're having to talk them through the process of what there is or what there isn't.
Yep.
And then you're talking about booking them again. So you're touching that booking 3 times if in a service model situation.
Yeah, and if it was only 3 times, maybe we could budget, but in fact it's not, because every single time that we think we've dealt with a customer and we've got to organise, the airline will change their terms and conditions, or the hotel will, or something else, or they just continually change. So if you walk into our office right now, there is files spread on desk because we cannot put anything away at the moment because they just keep changing.
So in regards to that, your staff,
Yes.
Let's talk about them, because they are an important stakeholder in this whole ecosystem.
Oh, absolutely.
How are they going?
Look, not too bad. You'd probably have to ask them directly. But I made the call very, very early on, and it probably goes back to your point that unfortunately I've been through numerous other disruptive incidences in the travel industry in the past. So from that past experience, I know that we're all human beings, and that fear of the unknown can have a serious impact on your well-being and how you then work through
and
any
our first
issues.
chamber chat
Absolutely.
definitely discuss that.
And a big call out to Jo, because she made contact with us as a business, because we have worked with her in the past, and was very, very helpful with understanding where we sit. So hence I alluded to before, I actually closed 2 of the stores straight away, the Willow store and the Otto store, and bought those. I made the call to bring those staff into Castletown and the city store. We've got plenty of room, so we're able to socially isolate and just work through, and pretty much most of our guys are on 4 days a week now to cap in with the JobKeeper, which I must say has been an absolute godsend. I know we'll talk about that a bit later. But I felt that by bringing everybody together and the unknown and continually changing environment that we're dealing with, some of our clients have been absolutely amazing. They've just been beautiful. I think I've never eaten so much chocolate in my life, just bringing in gifts. But we've had some real, and I won't swear, but some really challenging people who are going through their own circumstances. And realistically, it's never been like this before. We've never had a force majeure declared, despite all those other incidences over the years. There's never been a force majeure. And so a lot of people don't understand what that means.
No, they don't. It's actually a legal term. And it means it's through no fault. It's an act of God. It's through no fault of anyone. It is an act of God. And we as businesses, of which the Chamber does support, so we've got many hundreds of members. And I think it's important that we relate it back to the businesses and the fact that they need to be there tomorrow and the next day and the next day, because when we employ people, we take it seriously. We want them to be a part of our community. We want them to be employed. So let's talk about that JobKeeper. So how did the JobKeeper help you?
Well, it helped me keep people, because as we just alluded to, we're dealing with our clients being very busy, but we're not being paid. The travel agency model is a commission-based model. We're in sales, like any sales role. So when bookings...
So you don't own the product, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. We're an agent, absolutely. So we get paid on a commission when the booking's made. So when people travel, we get paid a commission for servicing that. So clearly, with nobody traveling, we don't.
No income.
That's right. So we're trying to educate our clients that we've already done the work for you, and so those commissions that we would have earned there on that booking have already gone to pay wages, to pay rents, to pay all your ongoing.
That's our first touch point.
That's exactly right. And the wages is the big one, which is obviously what we're touching on, because I do take extremely seriously my role in keeping people employed in this town, because they help our community go round. The big thing in a lot of this too, that's going to be one of the silent, possibly affected, I was big with charity in this town, and you've got to look seriously about whether we can afford to do that anymore.
And that is hard, because the charities have definitely spoken up, and I know that they're looking at that through the federal government and the state government of what they're doing. And I just think we have to continue to be generous in other ways. If we can't be generous, in financial ways, because we are being affected, we have to be generous with our time. And I think that's one way we can help.
And back to your JobKeeper, it has, because now that's being fundamentally looked after, not completely, obviously we've still got to accrue leave, but there's a cost to that, superannuation, there's a cost to that. And I've been mindful, because again of that skill set, we've trained people up, they've been long-term staff. We celebrated another one of our girls in the city office. I've got 6 people that have been with me for over 20 years. So we have got a long-term investment there in our people, that you can't just stand them down and then expect them to be available to come back. So JobKeeper's been amazing, and because of that, it's been able to enable us to keep going with a few of those other food relief and those sorts of things that we pride ourselves on.
So let's talk about, we've got our staff, they're employed, you're helping the customers through the journey. So let's talk about what the future looks like for travel associates, and especially now that the landscape has changed as far as international travel, and we don't know when that's going to open up again.
No.
But what we do know is that Australians love to travel.
Yes.
And Townsville people love to travel. And let's talk about that. Let's just finish up on a really positive note about what does the future look like for you?
Okay, it is quite exciting amongst all that, is because in everything, there's never been an opportunity to actually sit back, look at your business and go, okay, you know, the whole thing's burnt down. How are we going to rebuild it? So that's very much what we're doing. And it can be, and it is quite exciting. So what we're planning on doing is really, and have gone a long way into this, is really upping at the ante on our service model. You know, pretty much anybody can do. Because sorry, let me rephrase that. A lot of people have been driven to transact on the internet at the moment because they've had no choice, right?
So bricks and mortar.
Bricks and mortar have been very much sort of shoved to the background. So, and that's what we're about. So let's go our point of difference of being customer service and amping that up big time, so that then people, it doesn't become a question around having to pay a fee for the service, because we're going to add that much more value. Look, we do that anyway, but I don't think we've been particularly good at communicating that in the past.
Yes.
So that is very much where we're working through the steps in our model, what extra value adds we can put to our customers. It'll probably be a smaller operation because, as I alluded to before, the world is not going to just open up on the 1st of January. It's going to be, you know, different countries, different bubbles and different offerings. And that's, you know, the domestic market is going to be first. I even rang Longreach City Council yesterday just to sort of see, you know, what have you guys got out there? How can we work together? Just trying to sort of make those relationships stronger. So actually you could be bringing
on new product, which is exciting.
Yeah,
really
it is exciting. So, you know, we've got to stay positive in all this, and it can be challenging at a time. That's why it's good to have people together and keep, you know, checking in with people so that we do stay positive, that we all, you know, work together and keep mindful on the bigger community, the bigger ecosystem. Yeah. I was out with a group of people yesterday, not a big group because, you know, we can't do that at the moment. And I just stressed over and over during the course of the conversation that, you know, I don't know what your habits were before, and even if it's not me as a travel agency group that you wish to choose, but support local.
And that's what Chamber is all about.
Yes.
We want to go local. We want to remain focused on the fact that the way that we move forward as a city is we have to embrace each other's businesses and buy local. And what that also means is support bricks and mortars as well. So we know that you've definitely been looking online as a customer base, but let's also remember that we have to look to that bricks and mortar and come back to the people that are wonderful in our business industries, and that's including the travel industry. So I just want to say thank you for coming in for our Chamber Chats today, and no doubt we're going to have another Chamber Chat soon, so we'll be seeing you soon on our little Chamber Chats. Thank you.
Thank you.